Throughout United States history, martial law has been imposed at least 68 times in limited, usually local areas of the United States. Twice for war or invasion, 7 times for domestic war or insurrection, 11 times for riot or civil unrest, 29 times for labor disputes, 4 times for natural disaster, and 15 times for, quote, other reasons. Out of the 68 times that martial law has been declared in United States history, there is one time that stands out as a very dark time in American history and also in Hawaii's history. That was when martial law was declared on December 7th, 1941, the same day that Pearl Harbor was attacked by the Japanese during World War II. When martial law was declared, no one knew that it would stay in effect for 3 years, becoming the longest period of martial law in United States history in Hawaii, which at that time was still simply a United States territory. The Army controlled every aspect of life on the islands, from criminal justice to parking zones and curbside trash removal. The U.S. Army censored the press and monitored long-distance phone calls, cables, and civilian mail. Japanese language schools were closed, and all civilians, except very small children, were registered, fingerprinted, and required to carry identification cards. In anticipation of a second attack, residents were ordered to dig makeshift bomb shelters. Beaches were no longer just places for fun and recreation, and instead looked like military zones. Barbed wire was everywhere. At sundown, a complete blackout took effect. Schools were taken over by the military and entire neighborhoods were evacuated. All communication was censored, and the U.S. government ultimately burned over $2 million of cold hard cash and replaced it with newly minted currency that had the word Hawaii stamped on it. Peacetime courts were replaced with a military commission and provost courts that hardly functioned as paragons of justice. Hawaii's provost courts, which heard 37,000 civilian cases during that 3-year period, typically featured one single military officer serving as the judge. There were no warrants, no written charges, no juries, and no rights to appeal. Provost judges advised defendants not to get lawyers. Without such, quote, formalities of jurisprudence, the average trial time was reduced to 5 minutes, and guilty verdicts were handed down in over 90% of cases. Sentencing included such unconventional punishments as compulsory war bond purchases and blood donations. Martial law being declared in the territory of Hawaii had more to do with the fact that so much of the population of Hawaii was of Asian descent than it actually did with its geographical location and its proximity to Japan. And I'll